Something's weakening emergency responder communications. Should check it out.
Welcome to part 12 of the Spider-Man Miles Morales playthrough. In this part, we're going to talk to Phin. Later, as soon as we do some more side quests. So I looked up what an ohm-meter is, and it's a device that measures electrical resistance. Yeah, that's right. Miles got an instrument that measures electrical resistance. Make of that what you will. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop by, say hello to the nice folks of New York in my snazzy new outfit. It's just a scar. Oh my god, everything's on fire! What the fuck?
Spider-Man! Thank God. Something's weakening our emergency comms. We can't get through the fire department.
Is anyone still inside?
No, we got everyone out. But this fire's gonna jump if we don't get help. Hear that? Just noise now.
I think I can find the source. Don't worry, I'm gonna get your comms back up. The sooner I get to the source, the sooner the fire trucks get here. My webs can handle a fire this big.
Remember kids, Spider-Man does not fight fires, even though he fought fires in the old Sam Raimi films, but those weren't canon. Those never happened, okay? For this mission, Spider-Man instead has to find a signal jamming, which is in 2 different locations.
Fire's burning real good, and all I'm hearing is static. Guess powering down the tower worked.
Insurance only pays out if the whole building goes down. So make sure the static stays till then.
I'm quite surprised these goons don't know how to look up. Like, why can't these guys look up? This stealth section is rather trivial since A, you can turn invisible, and B, you can just literally jump off the building and the goons will think, oh man, that guy's a maniac, I'm not chasing after him. And they'll just go back to their regular patrols. And that's the problem with Spider-Man Miles Morales, is that the AI is easily exploitable and kinda dumb. Because, if anything, if you get in trouble, you can just swing away and the only thing they can do is really shoot at you, but you can dodge bullets in this game. So, that's a matter of you just taking advantage of the situation. And it also doesn't help that these guys have the attention span of a rat and they just lose interest after 30 seconds. Like, you disappear from combat and they just be like, where the fuck is he at? Where'd he go? Ah, who cares, let's have brownies. And I'm thinking to myself, worst AI ever!
Comms are weak because there's no power. I need to charge up that generator. I'm still getting a source for the weak comms. There must be another group in on the scam. Hey, Mr. EMT. Dudes are trying to burn down that building for an insurance scam. That's why they're messing with your comms.
Are you serious? They're putting people in danger.
Yeah. How's the fire looking?
It's getting real close to jumping to the building next door, and I still can't reach the fire department.
Signal should be clear soon. Hang tight. I'll update you.
Which brings me to something positive I have to say for The Last of Us 2, and I'll be sure to talk about that as I do my eventual playthrough of that in like 3 months. I know, I've been holding out on that one, but I promise. But AI in that game is devious, and if they lose sight of you, they will search, and search, and search, and get the dogs, and search, and whistle Dixie. And if they find you, oh, you better be prepared to fight because they will kick your ass otherwise. But why am I talking about The Last of Us 2 when I can talk about Miles Morales? This game has a really good combat system, really good stealth mechanics, but really dumb AI. Throw it out. The AI is trash. It's stupid. That little gadget I use right there is called a gravity well. It holds enemies into places and it stuns them for a bit. I don't normally use it that much, but when I do use it, it's really fun. And sure, the gravity well is not the most Spider-Man thing ever, but you're holding enemies in place and they're just stunned for 3 to 5 seconds. That's a W in my book. Man, those brutes just move way too fast for their height and weight for some reason. Lay off the Wheaties! Alright, problem solved. Now let's
Now to
turn
get the
on this
comms back
generator and see how the firemen are doing.
There, I think that worked. I should check on the fire and make sure comms are back up. Hey, how's the signal now?
Everything's coming through loud and clear. Got through to dispatch, too. Fire trucks are pulling up now.
At least Spider-Man doesn't have to fight a fire. Again, swing back to the EMTs to complete the mission. I was thinking of how far the Spider-Man games came as a concept since the early 80s. I should say early 80s because there's that Atari 2600 game which was... that was not a good game at all.
Fire department got the building extinguished just in time. I'm definitely giving your app 5 stars.
Glad I could help. Spread the word, too. The more people use the app, the safer we'll make New York.
I'm gonna make sure everybody knows about it. Thanks again, Spider-Man.
All right. Time to call Phin. Hope she answers. Someone lost their car. My car? Wait, snow? No, that's stupid.
And then you got the Return of the Sinister Six on NES. That game's a bag of ass, please don't buy it. And then going into the 16-bit era, you got games like Separation Anxiety and Maximum Carnage, which were good games, but they were too repetitive and way too hard for their own good. Like, there comes a point where you're just like banging your head against the wall because the AI is just being cheap. And then you also had other miscellaneous Spider-Man games during that time. Like you had Spider-Man the Animated Series game, which was a Super Nintendo game. You had Spider-Man vs. the Kingpin, which was a Sega CD and Sega Genesis game. Not sure if that one had a Super Nintendo port though. And then you had Spider-Man with the X-Men, which was a Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis game. I played a little bit of that one. That one was pretty good, but I haven't gotten too far into it.
Let that be a lesson!
Just don't do it again. Cool? Let's see how I can help you, my man.
Yeah, just finished a double shift. Came out to grab my car, but it's gone. I'm back on in 12 hours. And all I want to do is get home and sleep.
I can make that happen. You have your key fob on you?
The beep-boop unlock thing. Yeah, got it right here.
Awesome. One lost car soon to be found. Okay. I can track the signal from the key fob to find the car.
And then in 2000, that was when Spider-Man hit the PlayStation and Nintendo 64, and despite it being janky in some spots, it's a really solid game. And I know people are gonna argue that, oh wait, Spider-Man 2, the movie game, revolutionized superhero video games, and to an extent it did, but we can't forget that Spider-Man 2000 kind of put the superhero gaming genre back on the map after a few really rough years of just bad, just awful
man.
superhero games.
Recent chop shop. Car's definitely here.
To put into perspective, Spider-Man came out the same year as Superman 64, and there's really no argument in which game is the better game of that generation.
Full of lost cars.
But unfortunately, that's going to be a rant for another time. Now let's talk about the Sam Raimi trilogy. So basically the first movie game, it was alright. I mean, it served its job. It was nothing too special. Kind of got boring after a while, but you know, good time. It's really short too. Like, I was surprised how short it was. And then the second game was amazing. It was a bit longer. Basically the best superhero game of that generation, like 2004, 2005. And that was also when Batman Begins, the video game, came out. And that was alright too, but it's nothing like Spider-Man 2. And then the third game was... oh, I didn't like the third game. Let's just leave it at that. And then in 2008, that's when Spider-Man games became more like original plots. So you got games like Web of Shadows, Edge of Time, Friend or Foe, and Shattered Dimensions. And I have not played any of these games. Well, no, I'm lying. I played Web of Shadows, but not the console version. I played the Nintendo DS version of Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and it's basically, that version is basically like a Metroidvania. You have to go between different areas and collect items and just power up Spider-Man, basically. It's a pretty fun version of that game. And then there's the Amazing Spider-Man games, and okay, people want to call this version of Spider-Man Arkham. No, the Amazing Spider-Man is clearly inspired, if not ripping off Arkham, the Arkham combat system. Where'd this guy come from? But then again, there's a loose comparison from the Arkham's combat system to Spider-Man 2's combat system, so maybe everything is going full circle here. Then in the present day of 2018, which doesn't really make sense as it's not 2018 anymore, Spider-Man for the PS4 came out and people loved it. I loved it. I think it's the best Spider-Man game, at least up-to-date Spider-Man game. And where did they go from there? Spider-Man Miles Morales, and people loved it, and I also love it. Even though people might say that it's an expansion pack or a DLC, I honestly don't see it. There's enough different that's worth the full price tag in my honest opinion. But I will admit that this game is rather short. Like, it is 3 to 5 hours shorter than the original game for some stupid reason. I don't know. I get the spin-off, but it's like, okay, maybe put a little bit more meat here, guys.
Incredible. Hey, cops finally showed up here. I'll see if they'll drive me. Thanks again, Spider-Man. Gonna tell everyone to use your app after I get some sleep.
Glad I could help. All right. Think my work here is done. Time to call Phin.
Wait, was Spider-Man just double talking to himself? What the fuck?
Hi, Spider-Man.
Phin, hey, we need to talk. In person.
So you can lie to me again?
So I can make this right. Please. Meet me at Trinity Church. No more lies, I promise.
If you're screwing with me... Fine. I'll see you there.
At least she's willing to meet. Okay. Trinity Church. Let's go.
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? More like friendly neighborhood liar, man. That was fucking terrible. But there's a crate here, but there's also underground goons here too, so you gotta have to either sneak past them or fight them.
Hey man, I'm so glad you're using the app. It really feels like it's catching on with people.
I'm not surprised, dude. You nailed it. Take a bow.
I want to see what this Spider-Man app is about. Mainly just to use it and meet Spider-Man. I know it doesn't exist, but the concept is cool, okay?
I'm not gonna lie. I love opening my presents early.
That's cheating, but I do it too.
Hello, friends. This is the Danicast with our debate.
That's your intro? Lame! We in the business call that burying the lead. Pipe it up! Let me ask you something, Danny. Do you ever think about what you're inciting? About your journalistic integrity?
More than some.
Because your campaign against Roxxon is baffling to an actual journalist like myself. You should be attacking the young, unproved vigilante who keeps causing problems in Harlem.
What? You twist everything Spider-Man does into something malicious while simultaneously excusing everything Roxxon does wrong. All Spider-Man needs for you to support him is to get a better PR department.
The only problems Spider-Man fixes are the ones he causes. I won't praise the arsonist for putting out his fire. Meanwhile, Roxxon built a beautiful plaza in a failing neighborhood.
by tearing down homes and businesses. Our new Spider-Man is proving that Harlem isn't the failure Roxxon makes it out to be. And you, Mr. Jameson, for someone who claims to love New York, you sure do seem to hate New Yorkers.
You are clearly emotional, young lady, so I'm invoking the mercy rule on this dude. Jared, shut it down. And whose idea was it to debate a teenager? There are no good optics to destroying a child. Get the car. I need a hot stone massage.
Hello? Hello?
There's a side story with the two podcasters debating each other. You know, obviously Jay Jonah is against Spider-Man, and he's like, I want pictures of Spider-Man. He's a menace to society. Ah, bah, 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 bah. And then you got Danica, who is for Spider-Man and doesn't like the bad press about him, so obviously she's going to support him. And it's really interesting. It goes towards the world building of this series. So I looked up on YouTube and I saw Jay Jonah's rants from this game, but not Danica's or the debate itself. So I'm wondering if they're going to put that on YouTube later on. And I hope they do, because they're interesting to listen to on their own right. Especially Jay Jonah's. So in other news, Spider-Man's being attacked by more underground thugs. Where do they keep coming from? And how did his webbing clip through the... You know what, never mind, I'm not even gonna ask.
Just need to shut off the transmitter. Signal's clear. I should ask Genki about building some sort of underground ad blocker.
I'm sure Genki will say yes. And besides, advertisements are freaking annoying. Honestly, I don't know where I'm going with that. Next stop, Trinity Church. And I don't feel like swinging around, so we're just gonna take the subway. It's a long distance. Oh, hey, it's Spider-Man! Oh, wait, why are you wearing leg warmers? Come on, bro! I like to imagine some of these guys are like, really, dude? You will get that one asshole that will question your masculinity because you're not wearing what they consider normal by their standards. I don't know where I'm going with that conversation either, so I'm just gonna shut up right around now.
That was a hell of a way to tell me you're Spider-Man. What if I'd killed you?
You want me to feel bad because you almost killed me?
I want you to stop lying to me. I let you in the underground because I thought you understood.
I do understand. What Krieger did to Rick? Roxxon needs to pay. Not like this.
This is the only way I can beat him. I need you to look the other way. Please.
I can't. I made a promise.
So did I. Why'd you pick here?
Dad brought us to that concert. 7 choirs from 7 countries. Remember? Ghana was my favorite.
Ghana wasn't there. You're thinking of Guinea.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Ghana.
Guinea, Belize, Poland, Cuba.
South Korea, Thailand, Venezuela. You're right.
I usually am.
Usually. What?
Oh, god damn it, Rhino, why must you ruin everything?